Please raise your hand if you or anyone you have ever cared about, has ever received a cancer diagnosis. Seems to be everywhere. My name is Kelly Deal and I live in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm a patient of Dr. Richard Berri. The first thing I want you to know about me, thank you, yes sir, thank you so much. The first thing I want you to know about me is that I believe I am here this evening because of God and His work through Dr. Richard Berri in Assumption St. John Hospital. I do not believe I would have had such an incredible outcome after my surgery if I had chosen to go anywhere else in this country. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a mom. I have a 19-year-old son. He's about 6 foot tall. And don't tell him I told you this, but he's a big mama's boy. I am an educator too. This is my 25th year teaching, actually. I will be turning 52 years old in just a few days. And by the way, I feel fantastic. I found out about a year and a half ago that I had colon cancer. I was told I would have surgery to get it out. I would do 12 rounds of chemo and life would be getting back to normal by June. But that's not quite how it went. Instead, I woke up from my surgery in Savannah, Georgia in December of 2020 with an unexpected colostomy bag that I was told I would have for life. And all the cancer still inside of me. It was a lot, and it was embedded. I was told I was stage 4 and only had a year to live unless I had the surgery called HIPEC. So I spent the next 10 weeks trying to recover from my first surgery, learning how to live with a colostomy bag, which is awful, and researching hospitals for the HIPEC surgery. I talked to many doctors across the country, and I was always running up to UPS to send out surgical reports and CT scans everywhere. As for my chemo routine, I learned to sit in an infusion chair all day and then wear a chemo machine home for the next 46 hours. I did this every 2 weeks. And as I researched doctors and hospitals during this time, I was also reading a book called Taking Charge of Cancer by David Palma. It basically said, your surgeon needs to be a high volume doctor for the surgery you need. Your hospital needs to be a high volume hospital for that particular surgery. And your surgeon needs to have lots of compassion and his surgery should have a high success rate. Your surgeon should care a lot about the quality of life for patients after surgery. So basically, my choice of surgeon and hospital was imperative. I knew I needed to have the best surgery possible to increase my chance of a possible cure. But honestly, at that time in my life, I just wanted to talk to people who had gone through the HIPEC. There seemed to be no one that I knew of. So one night I was looking at Facebook of all things. And as we all know, there's so many groups on Facebook. And as I've already said, I wanted more than anything just to talk to some people who had gone through this surgery. So I typed in HIPEC group on Facebook and I couldn't believe it. There was a HIPEC group. Internationally, there are less than 900 members. I asked these questions to the group. Who is your doctor and would you choose him again? Over and over, I kept seeing the name Dr. Richard Berri. So I did my homework and I started reading about him. I started listening to anything on YouTube I could find with his name attached. And I started messaging the individuals who had posted about their experience with him. Some I even spoke with on the telephone. Each person had nothing but incredibly positive things to say about Dr. Richard Berri, his team, and Assumption St. John Hospital. So you better believe it, I myself is contacting Dr. Berri. Excuse me. I had done my homework, and this is what I'd learned. Dr. Berri is an extremely high-volume doctor for the HIPEC surgery in our country. He has performed far more of these surgeries than most other doctors. Ascension St. John is a high-volume hospital for the HIPEC surgery, and people had already told me firsthand that Dr. Berri is compassionate and concerned about quality of life for all of his patients after surgery. So I emailed Dr. Berri, I think it was a Tuesday night when I sent it, and I was expecting to hear from his office in the next few days, maybe a week. That was the routine anyway with all the other hospitals up to that point. But Dr. Berri called me himself the next morning after I sent my email. It was about 7:30 a.m., and he told me that he would need to review my scans and operative report that were already en route, by the way. But based on what I had explained in my email, he thought he could help me. And when I tell you that it was like a flash of lightning from God, trust me, it was. I knew that God was telling me I had found my doctor. I checked into the hospital on June 1st. My HIPEC surgery the next day was right under 14 hours. Not only did Dr. Berri and his team remove all the cancer, but my colostomy bag had been unexpectedly reversed as well. Now, I knew Dr. Berri had planned on eventually reversing it, but it was a blessing and a miracle that it happened during the same surgery. Dr. Berri was there from beginning to end. Excuse me. While in the recovery room, I never opened my eyes, but I could feel caring people all around me. I could hear they were excited for me. My surgery was a great success. And even though I was far from home, I knew I was exactly where God wanted me to be. While I began my recovery in ICU, one of the nurses, I'll never forget her, she's this little teeny tiny lady, but she took really good care of me. But then again, everyone was incredible who took part in my treatment, especially my doctor. Thank you, Dr. Berri and Ascension St. John, for saving my life. I do feel like a miracle. I honestly do. And even though I live far away in Savannah, Georgia, it does not matter. Dr. Berri, you will always be my doctor. There is no one else, medically speaking, that I've ever trusted like I trust you and your team. And my son, that mama's boy, he thanks you too, Dr. Berri. I'm so grateful to be alive, and I'm so incredibly grateful to feel healthy and have my life back. It's hard to believe my surgery was just 9 months ago. Thank you.